twinking blue.
Okay.
Yep.
So you grew up here,
Yes,
obviously. How do you feel about being back in the house?
It doesn't bother me. Like, I wouldn't hang out in here very long by myself, but it doesn't bother me if other people are here.
Okay. What is the overall energy or like the vibe of the home, if you had to describe it?
Most of the time, it's a neutral energy. Like, I don't feel like there's a lot of negative energy here. There is a man here that comes and goes that's definitely negative. I have several EVPs of him and conversations with him and other reports and stories and stuff from other people in my family.
Okay. If you had to kind of put a finger on what you think this entity is or like where it came from, do you have any ideas of that?
I do. And this is my theory, and I don't know if I've even ever told anybody this, but my mom's first husband, they lived like an eighth of a mile from here, and he actually shot her and thought he killed her, and then shot himself, and my mom didn't die. I have a feeling, and it's always a bigger man with a hat on, and I have a feeling that that's Gary. He was a small man, but I feel like he projects himself as a bigger person because he's more intimidating and scary. But like I said, that was an eighth of a mile from here, and I feel like over the years I felt his energy and kind of got to know when he was around, kind of the weird different feeling that's in the house. But I don't feel like he stays here, but he comes and goes.
Okay. Are you nervous about investigating tonight?
Not really. I did have something, I think, follow me home one time from here. And had to have my house cleansed. It's not something I've even ever seen before. I believe her because my dad said he's seen the exact same thing here. And it's a small, like a 4-foot humanoid figure. But it has like pyramid-shaped outline. Jagged pyramid-shaped outline, and it's about 4 foot tall. And my dad hasn't seen very many ghosts. Like, he didn't have a lot of the experiences we had growing up here. But he specifically told me what he seen one night, and he said, I don't think it was human. And my babysitter seen the exact same thing at my house about 2 months after we did an investigation here. So I did have my house cleansed. I've never seen it. It's never bothered me. But and nobody's seen it since, so I'm pretty sure that when they did the two mediums did cleanse my house, they got rid of it.
Okay. Can you walk me through some of your first experiences or things that kind of gave you a clue that something was wrong with the house?
Yeah, I was probably, we moved in here, I was about 4, and I probably didn't recognize and realize a lot of the stuff. Like, I think Lacey, when she was younger, didn't necessarily understand what was going on. But I was probably 6 or 7. And things started coming up missing in my room. Things started changing positions. I would hear rustling and stuff at night. I'd get up and see stuff that was moved. And I was pretty particular when I was a kid how I, rearranged the stuff in my room. And would know that when I got up, like some of my toys and stuff were moved, the stuffed animals were moved. And I would hear that stuff in the middle of the night too, and then wake up and see a lot of times things had been misplaced in my room.
Is there any experience that sticks out more than the others in your head?
Oh man, I've had a lot.
You can go over some of them if you want.
So one night, we always shut the upstairs off because it was so hard to heat during the winter. And me and my sister would just sleep in the loft here. And one night we were sleeping in the loft and everybody else had went to bed. And I heard something upstairs in the upstairs 2 rooms, and they're both locked. And I tried to ignore it. My sister heard it too. It woke her up. And so we started talking about it. So I went up there and I pulled it had a hook and eye lock on it. And it was really hard. You had to pull the door to get the hook out of the eye. Cause when you shut it, you had to pull it shut completely. And then, so I unhooked the door and the cat ran out. There was a cat locked in there. I don't know how long it had been in there. So I locked the thing back, come back to the bed. And as soon as I did, the door started rattling again. And it wasn't, I don't know, not even a minute after I'd sat back down and the door started rattling again, you heard that hook and eye lock come undone, ching, and it came up and unlocked, and the door kind of swung open a little bit. And that's the last encounter we had that night. Like, it didn't come after us or anything, but something was definitely messing with us that night. I was probably 13 or 14 probably.
And you've lived here for a majority of
Since I was 4. I'm 39 now.
So, what is the overall goal of the home? Do you have like a vision you want for the home, like later
Um,
on down the road, or?
Not really. I mean, I'd like to see it restored. Um, I'd like to see it restored, and eventually, if that happened, be cleansed. But because I've never tried anything like that, but here, yeah, we still use it as our family get together place, and it's always, I don't know, it's always been kind of home to us. So,
Is there anything that you want out of this investigation tonight? Anything that you want to experience, or anything like that? Anything you want to happen?
I just hope, and it's always been pretty active in the past. I just hope we get some kind of interaction. It's Lacey's first investigation, so we get to interact with something. But this place is, I've never been here. We've done it 3 times, and we've never had a boring investigation here. So,
Okay. Awesome. Is there anything that you want to mention that you feel like maybe like some history that you remember that you think needs to be mentioned?
I've done a little bit of history on this house, not a lot. There is a lot of Native American history here as well, all the way back to early Archaic and Paleo. I have a pretty decent amount of arrowheads I found when I was a kid, but they seem to live right through here because there was, it was pretty apparent with the tools and stuff that were here. And I'm not the only one. There's lots of people that artifact hunt around here. So this area has a lot of history, but not. That's about all I got.
Okay.
Tons of experiences. I mean, you don't have time for all that. We could sit here all night, but
Yeah.